All right, hi everybody. So let's look at this problem. It says f of x equals negative 3x minus 5. Now, here what we're going to be doing is we're going to be transforming it. So we're either going to be translating it, which means moving it left and right, up and down, or we're going to be reflecting it. So reflecting it just means just like what a mirror does, right? It shows a reflection. So the first one is we want to do a translation 4 units up. Now, when we do this, a form that we're going to keep on seeing is f of x equals the quantity x minus h plus k. Okay, so you'll get familiar with this throughout the year. But let's look at this one first. Translation 4 units up. So whenever we're going to be translating it, moving it up or down, we're going to be adding or subtracting, okay, on the outside of that parentheses. So on the outside. So here, since it's up, we're going to be adding 4. Okay. So up is adding. And that's going to be the k. So we're going to have, I'm going to put g of x this time, because it's a new function. So we have negative 3x minus 5 plus 4. We're adding 4 on the outside. And when we do that, we get negative 3x minus negative 5 plus 4 is 1. And that's it. All right, so that's a vertical. Now for number 2, it says translation 4 units to the right. So this one is a horizontal. Horizontal is going to be a little bit more challenging. It's on the inside. And notice that the original form is a minus h, so x minus h. So because of that minus, we want to think opposite when we're adding or subtracting on the inside. So if it's horizontal, think opposite. Okay, so usually right, like on the coordinate plane, we think plus is right and minus is left. But here we want to think opposite, so translation 4 units right, it's going to be minus 4. Okay, and I'll go into more detail in class about that. So here I'm going to do h of, actually let's do g of x again. Then we have, oops, sorry, writing the original function, negative 3. And here, because it's a horizontal, we're just adding or subtracting to the x only. So this is going to be, we're going to put parentheses there, and we're going to put the x minus 4, and then minus 5 on the outside. All right, and that's going to give us, and over here, because of the parentheses, we're going to distribute that negative 3, and that gives us negative 3x, and then negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12 minus 5. So we end up getting negative 3x plus, and then 12 minus 5 is going to give us 7. That's it. All right, and then I'll show this in class on Desmos. Desmos, if you don't know, is a great graphing calculator. So you can get the app or just check on the website. Okay. So here it says a reflection in the x-axis. So whenever it's a reflection it's going to be a minus. You're going to put a negative either in front of the whole function or in front of just the x. So if it's a reflection in the x-axis, this is a negative in front of the whole function. So a negative in front. Okay, and how do we know? Because that reflection is a negative, and that x-axis tells us it's in front. All right, so we're going to put our original equation, negative 3x minus 5. And we're going to take the negative of the whole function. So we're going to put negative and put parentheses there. And we get, distribute that negative. Negative 3x is positive 3x. And negative 5 is positive 5. There we go. Ta-da! And same thing with over here. So reflection, the x-axis is a negative in front of everything. A reflection in the y-axis is a negative in front of the x only. Okay, so that y-axis tells us it's in front of the x only. So we're going to put g of x equals our original function, right? Negative 3, I'm going to leave some space, x minus 5, and I'm going to put a negative in front of just the x, and there we go. And that gives us positive 3x. So negative 3 times negative x is positive 3x minus 5. That's it. All right, so that's a linear transformation with linear functions. So here's a transformation with absolute value functions. So here we have f of x equals absolute value of x plus 3 minus 5. And here's the original function. Looks familiar, right? So instead of the parentheses, we have absolute values. Okay, so the same rules apply. So translation 4 units down. Down is vertical, so it's going to be plus or minus on the outside. Okay, that's the k. So here, since it's down, it's going to be negative. So the outside, it is what it sounds like. All right, so we're going to do g of x equals absolute value of x plus 3 minus 5. Write the function first, and then do this part. Minus, because it's down, minus 4, because that 4 there. Then simplify. X plus 3 minus 9. And that's it. And here, translation 4 units to the left. Remember, if it's horizontal, right and left, it's going to be the inside. So it's going to be inside, in this case, inside of the absolute value. So we want to think opposite. So left, we think negative, but now it's going to be positive. Okay, think the opposite for the horizontal. So g of x equals, write the original function, x, leave some space, plus 3, absolute value minus 5, and then translation 4 units to the left, so plus 4. So x plus 4 plus 3 is x plus 7 minus 5. And that's it. Simple, right? And let's look at the reflections. Again, reflection means it's going to have a negative either in front of the whole function or in front of just the x. If it's x, it's in front of the whole function. So reflection is a negative in front of, and x-axis means everything. So put it in front of everything. We're going to have g of x equals, write the original function, x, absolute value of x plus 3 minus 5, and it's in front of everything, so when you put parentheses and a negative in front, and distribute. Now because of that absolute value, it doesn't distribute to everything, it just stays on the outside of the absolute value, and we get negative absolute value of x plus 3, and then negative 5 is positive 5. So that absolute value, it's like a force field. You can't bring that negative inside until you bring it down. And I'll talk about that in class. But that's it. And for reflection in the y-axis. So reflection, negative in the y-axis. So negative in front of just the x. Okay, so the y-axis means it's in front of x only. So g of x equals, write the original function, x plus 3 minus 5. So put a negative in front of the x only, and that's it. Well, that's all. And that was that.